DoorDash Driver Mama. Andrea TV here from DoorDash Driver Mama, coming to you on a brand new day. It is a Thursday. And what do you do when you're having a bad day and you're a gig worker? Whether it's DoorDash, UberEats, Instacart, Zifty, Roadie, Deliver that, you name it. What do you do when you're having a bad day? Well, I'll let you know what happened yesterday. I have a half day's worth of recordings on the phone that I'm going to delete because what I did at the end of the day after picking up my daughter, I went home and I had dinner and I went to bed. That is not the most profitable solution, but when you're tired and there's no money out there, I mean, $63. I started at 9:15. I stopped to go pick her up about 3 o'clock. Mind you, I most likely did stay at the same spot too long. If you're not getting an order at all within 20 minutes, definitely move to a different, if it's Instacart, different grocery store, or just drive around, because there could be random orders like from a pet store or a stationery store or a Home Depot that the grocery stores are not, when you're at the grocery store, you're not the closest person there. Same thing with Uber Eats and DoorDash. If the restaurant you normally sit in is a lot of dashers or drivers and you're not getting anything, try driving around. I didn't do that yesterday because I was also physically tired. So I went home and I stayed home, and we are starting a new day. It is 9 a.m. on the dot. We have our first order. Uber Eats, $14.27 for, I believe, 5-point-something miles. And let's go. That order was dropped off smoothly. It was a meet at door at an office building, but she didn't leave the suite number. So when I arrived in the lobby, I said, I'm here. What suite number are you in? And she gave me the suite number, and she said, oh, thank you. I guess she had planned on coming down to meet me, but got wrapped up. And she had a beautiful top on, like a sunflower, and it was a lime green. And I said, oh, it's a beautiful bright shirt on this gloomy day. She said, oh, yours too? I said, thank you. So we arrived back on the avenue. It is 9:50, and we have accepted our next order. I usually do not like to go into DC, but for $51 we're gonna take a trip. It is 2 shops going 7.9 miles in total. Once I finish with the second shop, one of the stores is Wegmans. I don't like shopping at Wegmans, but $51, we're gonna see if we can do it in less than 2 hours and be back. 9:51. I am not a fast shopper. 4 items from PetSmart, and then 31 items and 70 something units from Wegmans, but it's mostly multiples of like yogurt and things like that. So I'm hoping we can do it all and get back. Let's go. So we've finished the PetSmart shop. They have both a dog and a cat, and now we're off to Wegmans. One of the things I don't like about Instacart, it does not tell you when you have alcohol in the order. This order is going to include 6 bottles of wine. I don't like delivering alcohol. I don't want to review your ID. I don't want to judge whether you are inebriated or not. And I don't want that added responsibility. But it didn't tell me, and I've already accepted. So let's go. Another reason why I usually don't get these orders, if you see those 2 people going up in the escalator now, it's usually a group of them, and they sit there and they sit in the store just waiting to get all of the orders themselves. I got that order because I was closer to PetSmart. But we're grateful for this one. Let's go shop. Okay, it's 12:47. I arrived back on the avenue about 12, I would say, about 12:20 at this point. It's time to turn on DoorDash. But before I do, I missed the Harris Teeter. It was $31 going 1.1 miles for 2 customers and like 40 items. So what? And I took a screenshot, which I said I wasn't going to do, and I missed it. Somebody else snagged it. But someone walked up to me in this parking space on the street, an older lady, had to be over 65, doing the shuffle walk, and most of the hair thinned out up top, her nice jewelry, her white Mercedes. And she says, are you leaving? I said, oh, no, I'm not leaving. And then she goes to the meter. She's like, oh, you don't have any money in the meter. I said, I know. She said, I can write you a ticket. I was like, I know. She said, well, move. I said, I'm not gonna. And I rolled back up my window. Excuse me, ma'am? Why would I move and give you my space because you want to park and you're rude about it? Anyways, we are going to turn on DoorDash and see what we get next. After not turning on DoorDash since Monday, that first order came in at $12.50, $4.75 going 3.8 miles to a hospital. We are going to give it a few minutes to see if we get an add-on to make it worth it. If not, we may not be doing it. And we did get an add-on for $6 and 2.6 miles. It is 1:48. We are back on the avenue, and we have our next order. It is a Target order. $23. Not a. It is 2 orders, Target and Safeway. Total of 22 items between the 2 customers, and then driving 4.9 miles. But on that last 2 orders that I did, the cookies were going to a high school. So the high schooler tipped $3.50 and the adult working at a hospital tipped $0. Unbelievable, but let's go shopping. The Target shop was mostly cleaning products. Now we're gonna get some food. And this is not the store they wanted me to go to, but it's the store closest to Target, so I did it. And we dropped off that Instacart batch without a hitch, and then we went to get the oldest son from school, and then the daughter, our youngest son, had an away baseball game from middle school, and we made it right for the end. They are packing up to leave. Perfect timing. Either way, now everybody's going to ride home with my husband, and we are going to be able to have a full dinner shift. No Uber rides home required. I love it. It is now 5:20. We were about to turn on DoorDash. If we got to 5:18 or 5:20 and there was not an Uber Eats, then I would have turned on DoorDash. But we have 10:25 or 10:24 going less than a mile, and then they sent an add-on, $11.97 for an additional 4.4. We're going to get some Indian food and some steaks. Okay, those orders are dropped off, and we're going to wait for the final tip for 1 hour. Our next is not a great one, $5.25 for 2.1 miles, but Uber did not send me anything good, and neither did Harris Teeter, so we took it. 40, and we just got our next order. It is slow. $14.03 going, I don't even know, 6 miles. And we're going back to the sushi place. But on a brighter note, one of the previous sushi orders, they increased the tip, or they put that big tip the whole time. I don't know. But that order, it was 2 of them together, and it went up to $53.17. Thank you, customers. Now let's go get the next one. 9 o'clock. I believe it's like 8:49, and we have our next order. We have both apps on and Instacart, but we have $8.50 for 3.1 miles. We're gonna get some ramen and deliver. 9:47, and we have our last order, $6.25 for 2.4 miles, and then we are going home. And they did send an add-on for $6 and a half a mile. DoorDash driver, mama. DoorDash driver, mama. DoorDash driver,